Welcome to this year's Sigma Kappa Delta Slut Cam game.
You built us a beautiful house. Everybody was invited? Triple check, Captain.
Welcome to the SCAREHOUSE.
That's impressive.
Did you bring my black shoes?
I don't have them.
Liar.
Are you here for the party?
Hello.
This year's challenge will require balls.
Are you getting the jitters? You're making me nervous, and I don't want to be nervous. No one could have planned this better than you.
The plan was already in motion. None of us wanted you to go to jail.
Who planned this?
Is this party your idea then?
Where were you on October 30th?
Will you let us go?
What is it you always told me? A girl should always want to be better.
It's too tight!
Then no guy ever.
How'd you get out?
Good behavior.
This isn't a party, is it?
You spend so much time Frankensteining yourself that I think it's time for the good doctor and I to kill the monster.
I'm sorry.
You can't break my spirit. On the contrary, I count on it.
Sluts and liars they are, but tardy they are not.
What's going on, everybody out there all across the land? Of course, you know you're tuning into the #1 station on the net, Hotline Radio. It's the Keith Harris Show, and of course, I am your guy, Keith Harris, and we're excited. Of course, this excitement started a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, as we got into the nominations for 2015 Fantastic Horror Film Festival, and I'm gonna be a little bit biased and call it one of my favorites, as a matter of fact. All right, this film got rave reviews and a lot of nominations, and I'm very honored and pleased, and it is my pleasure to roll out the red carpet for director and writer Gavin Michael Booth and the wonderful extraordinary actress Teagan Vincze of SCAREHOUSE. How you two doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Doing well. It's an honor. It's an honor to have you two on. Listen, first question I want to kind of ask, and then we'll get into it again later. But first, congratulations on so many nominations for the Fantastic Horror. Did you expect it?
No, I never expect any nominations. This film was sort of built out of much adversity and overcoming many obstacles, where when we finished the film I thought, man, I just hope we have a film that people will like, let alone, be nominated for anything. So it's completely flattering and been a little bit, every time we get nominated for anything regarding this film, I'm very, very flattered.
Right. I listen, you two are used to doing great works anyway, so I can understand your modesty. Listen, Teagan, how did you begin in the film, be in the film and television industry, or how did you know you wanted to be an actress?
It started when I was really, really young. I saw a film called Stand By Me, which actually happens to be a favorite of Gavin's as well, and it inspired me. I started acting when I was a teenager doing theater, and then I kind of just transitioned into film in my early years in college, as I just started taking theater and acting, and then I don't know, it just kind of happened.
Yeah,
but I knew from a young age that I wanted to do it.
Right, and Canada in general, I mean Toronto and especially Vancouver, because you're from Canada, right?
Yeah. I was born in Vancouver, and then I moved to Toronto about 3 years ago.
Yeah, and so they've up there, as a lot of people may know, the industry has always been heavy up there. Even if years ago people didn't recognize it, but there's been a big film fashion world going on up there. So I guess it was right. It was kind of right there at your doorstep if it's what you wanted to do, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And so, Gavin, how did you two meet? Where are you from, Gavin? Are you from Canada as well?
I grew up in Canada, in Windsor, Ontario, which is directly opposite Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
And that's where we shot the film too, Windsor, Ontario. And I moved to Toronto early 2013, and then I met Teagan initially through her audition for this film, for SCAREHOUSE.
Wow. Listen.
Yeah, we met in the audition room, and then I don't know. I guess I did something right because he put me in his film.
Absolutely.
Well, the script said redhead, so you were the only one.
I was curious.
Lies. No, Teagan's audition was killer, and everybody was on board to have her. This is the first film where I've had bosses, where normally everything I've done is independently funded or financed. And this film, we had Universal Studios as our distributor in the U.S. from the beginning. So it's like that quote in Office Space where it says, like, every time I make a mistake, I have 8 different bosses I've got to hear from. This is my first experience of going through the system. So I literally had 4 or 5 bosses that had to, there'd be actors that I really wanted, but 4 or 5 other people had to agree with me. So,
right.
Teagan made it through the whole gauntlet of bosses and made it into the film, which I was very happy about.
Listen, it definitely seems like it was worth the red tape. Go ahead, Teagan. Did I cut you off?
No. I was just gonna say I'm happy it turned out the way it did because while I was going through the audition process, someone from back home had passed away, and I wasn't able to make the funeral. And I felt so awful about it. And I was like, God, if this film doesn't work out, then I'm just going to be this big jerk that can go home for this funeral. And
wow.
Luckily I got the part, but it was really hard to find because I was like, oh, do I go back for this funeral? But I have this really amazing opportunity, and I don't know. I guess things always work out the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, I understand. Gavin, look, listen. First of all, good job, because you talk about the audition and having to make the part. You did a wonderful job. And Gavin, listen, this script just seems like it fell none short of having to be perfect. Were you the writer on this as well?
I am the writer. It was co-written by Sarah Booth, who also starred the movie. But I wrote the script, and I've always had a knack for sort of witty dialogue, and just I like when characters are sort of just all out against one another and throwing a whole bunch of people into the mix that don't get along, and just trying to see how they deal with one another.
Well, listen, you guys, look, you all went nuts on this film right here. You know what I'm saying? I can see why it's making so much noise. How did and without giving too much away, how did the creativity, or how were you inspired to write this type of script with a plot? Because listen, we can't give it away, but there's so many twists and turns in this film.
Well, the film was the number 3 torrented film on Kick-Ass Torrents for like several weeks, so I think we can give something. Like most people would.
Okay.
But yeah.
Good, because I wanted to get into
we
it.
We can talk openly.
All right.
Well, it's just the general sense of it is, I watch a lot of horror movies. I watch a lot of movies in general, and it came down to, well, if we're going to do this, we described this film sort of like Saw or Hostel meets Mean Girls.
Right.
And we thought, well, what are some torture devices? What are some methods of torture that we haven't seen before? And that was a long discussion that I had with several of my horror movie friends. And I said, I kind of want to go. I actually thought, because I know this film. I don't know if you know the history of the release, but Fangoria did an article on it that at our Toronto premiere, a woman passed out and had to be taken away by ambulance. And when we premiered the film in Windsor, we made an audience member throw up. And I thought when we were making the movie on a restricted, low budget, under all this stress and time constraints, I looked at the camera often and went and kind of groaned and thought, oh man, our special effects are so cheesy. They're not going to hold up. What am I doing? Why am I making a horror movie? No one's going to buy this. And, because there's some great horror movies that you're standing in the same arena as. And, so when the gore and the kills and everything sort of worked out in the sense that it disturbed people and shocked them, I was, giddy inside that we had done something. It kind of floors me, but all that credit goes to our amazing makeup team with Carly Nicodemo and Taylor Vincze, who aren't veterans in the industry. They were starting out themselves, and they brought their A game every single day to just really go for realism. I want realism. I really don't like movies that have over the top sort of cheesy fake effects. And,
right.
Teagan's character has some of the goriest stuff with the having to pull one of her dead best friends out of her rib cage.
You know what? Listen. Look, I was sitting here and I was cringing. I'm glad we can talk about this because now we can really cut up. Okay. We're not Star Wars Episode 7. We can talk about spoilers here. Okay, cool. Listen. You all, first of all, to all the listeners out there and everybody, you have to go see or make sure you order this film and watch it in the comfort of your own home or different venues, which you're going to talk about places you can see it later. But you have to see this film. Now, listen, you guys did not spare us anything at all. Listen, from the first torture scene, I was out of it. I was out of it from the first torture scene. I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, like I had to turn my head. Because these were not, as you said before, these were not the normal things that you would see. Like I still don't want to give away too much in the scene, but kind of when you kind of squish the girl, if you know what I'm talking about, with the girdle thing on.
The corset with the Jeep winch, yeah.
Yeah, that thing that the girl had on, and they was tightening it up, and I think, oh man. Who thought of that?
So, a lot of the credit to that scene, the power of that scene goes to George Flores, who was our sound designer, because, I said, I know what a Jeep winch sounds like. We stood on set, and it has the sound effect that goes, it's not really that impressive or scary,
right.
But I walked into, the second day of sound design, and we were on that scene. George goes, I've been thinking about this idea. What do you think about this? And he turns it on. It's like 3 jet engines combined with something else. And suddenly the sound effect goes. And I'm like, wow, that sounds like she's being torn apart. That sound is so important to all films, which I've always known. But
right.
Our sound designer added to the makeup effects and obviously the actors, Danny Barker in that scene or Teagan in her scenes, like the ability to scream and ride around in pain like that. The performance has to sell it more than the makeup and the sound effects.
Right. Teagan, how did you prepare for the part so well? I mean, first of all, you did a wonderful job. Now, but see there, you see the effects going on.
Yeah. Well, Gavin tortured me for. I don't know. I guess I've seen a lot of horror movies growing up. I honestly, I don't know what could have prepared me for that because I was tied to a chair for 3 days. It was wild. I don't know. I guess I brought my A-game scream. I have a pretty loud scream.
Yeah.
Keith, so I'm just going to interrupt for a second because that scene she's talking about, that was your first day on set, right? That's the first scene we shot with you?
Yeah.
So there's a scene where she she realizes that she's sitting next to a body.
Right.
And lets out this blood curdling. We've been working with the 2 lead actresses for a couple days, so we knew their rhythm. We felt that they were incredibly talented actors. Everything was going well. Teagan is the first of the other 6 girls that was brought into the production. So there was a bit of a nervousness. There were conversations of man, our 2 leads are really good.
Right.
So Teagan's first moment is that reveal and that scream. And I remember having with you before the yell cut because everyone was just smirking ear to ear. And I think I even said it and everything was going to live up to what we wanted.
Yeah. That like you say, I was put her on the team, as a thinker because Teagan, I would have never thought to try to use I would say what were you going to do with that bone possibly?
to kind of laugh at the whole thing. Like, well, what did you get with the bone? Like, I was going to get out of that. But
well, I think that was always in writing it too, was that we, you know, we're like, well, she gets out of step one, which is saw the ropes with this jagged rib bone, but after that, she didn't really have any options, so she got on the ropes. But she's not Indiana Jones, she's not MacGyver. She didn't figure out what the next step was. She got past step one. And then,
right.
Shelby was very resourceful. I mean, in those situations, desperate times call for desperate measures. She was sitting there with a rib sticking out. So
she was.
What do you gotta lose?
You didn't really have the rest of your Mission Impossible team to help you figure out the next step.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you know what? Very smart under pressure, because I probably would not have thought of that, but it was a good move. It definitely was, no doubt. Well, so you know, the nominations and things like that. I mean, hey, you know, I guess you guys are excited, but what other projects are you two planning to work on? Any other projects in the future together, or any separate entities going on? Or
Teagan?
I said
Gavin, you want to go first?
I can. Yeah, I mean, I have 3 short films that I'm doing sort of back to back to back. I'm in a situation. Most of the films I've ever done, I've been the writer, I've been the producer, I've been the editor. It's been like, you know, the one man driving force of this is the next project I want to make.
Right.
I've never been the director for hire. So I have 3 upcoming short films. One's a drama called Orange Lipstick. Another one's a horror film that we have 2 very talented actors and horror icon Bill Moseley and Orphan Black television star Christian Bruin are the leads in. That's called Bloodshed. That's a horror film, the short that I'm doing. And then another fantasy hip-hop Goonies-esque 80s adventure called The Lost One. And those are the 3 projects where I'm going to serve as director and nothing else. So I'm sort of experimenting with if I like that flow of the industry, or if I'm better served as always being writer-director. Those are exciting. And then in terms of Teagan and I, we have a fantasy of being involved in a 50s or 60s era Stand By Me-esque, you know, classic coming-of-age drama. So her and I constantly toss around ideas. I mean, I think it's safe to say, Teagan, eventually we're going to make another movie together. We just have to figure out which movie that's going to be.
Yeah, for sure.
And who pays for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
For me, I just got back from Vancouver. I was out there shooting the unauthorized Melrose Place story, which will be airing on Lifetime on October 10th. I played Marcia Cross during her iconic role when she played Kimberly Shaw on Melrose Place.
Oh wow, that's huge. That's a big deal.
Yeah. It was great. It was really fun.
What was some of your favorite shows growing up? Or were you like a TV person then, or?
I was a big 90210 fan. I was too young when Melrose Place was on, so when I was shooting Melrose Place, like I had to watch the show, and it's funny because I remember it being on like when my parents used to watch it, but I never understood any of the content that was on it, and then going through and rewatching, I'm like, oh, that's what that means. That's what those lines mean. And then I guess, like, do you mean like current shows now, or when I was younger?
Well, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, I guess when you were younger, you know what I'm saying. But do you find? Now, let me ask you this question: can you, take a film like Scarehouse, or other films that you've done? How do you deal with when you go back and you watch yourself in films? Are you really critical? Of your delivery of performance, or do you take a few months before you want to see it? How are you with that?
I'm always curious, but hesitant. Watching the Scarehouse, I was curious to see how actually my voice would sound, because the first day we were just talking about how I screamed the first day, like that was my first scene. I lost my voice on the first day of set, and I still had like weeks of shooting. So I was constantly drinking tea and honey and just trying to get my voice kind of back to a place where I could speak again, but it actually ended up hating the role because I sounded exhausted.
Right.
So I was a little bit nervous to see how it would turn out, but it sounds really, really great.
Now, and listen, Gab, you know, going back to you for a second, you're no stranger to the camera because you've been, directing videos with some pretty big names in the industry too, right?
I do love a good music video when I can get my hands on one.
Is that like one of your true loves right there, doing the videos?
I love music videos. I mean, they're all, I like, especially the ones where I can do them in a short film kind of format where there's a storyline and actors. It's not just, I say the two things I never want to do again are a group of 5 angry guys in a van playing in a warehouse where it's raining, or, you know, girl singer in a wheat field at sunset. Those are awesome to me. I like trying to be a little more creative. But yeah, no, recently it's funny. One of my, I'm in Detroit currently, and one of my, I went to see the band Weezer on Saturday night at an amphitheater here called Freedom Hill, and it was very nostalgic for me because I haven't been there for a good decade, but a decade ago I snuck into a concert of a rock band. If you remember the Third Eye Blind, mostly famous in the late 90s, you know, still current and popular today, but I snuck into one of their concerts at this amphitheater I was at the other day, many years ago, and convinced them that I was there as a Canadian reporter, and I was there to, I'm just here to get the story, eh? You know, my TV station wanted me to come out and do a story with you.
Oh, wow.
And they bought the whole thing hook, line, and sinker, and that really launched my career because their singer Stephen Jenkins at the time really, you know, he saw something in me that I don't even know if I saw myself, and offered me a spot to come on tour with them and shoot tour videos, and eventually led to working with their record label with some other big artists like some of them are little and independent, like you might not have heard of them, like Eminem and B12.
They're little. Band. They're not little artists, Gavin.
But that's the Carlton, Switchfoot, just all these bands and these opportunities sort of, that was the springboard of working with Third Eye Blind that led to everything else. And then I've worked with a ton of independent musicians in Toronto, such as Emily and Gavin Blake, and many of these people you'll find on the SCAREHOUSE soundtrack, because part of what I love about what I do, loving music and film, is every time I make a film, it's the example for me to showcase my friends' incredibly talented music. And, you know, it's never a stretch, too. I'm not like, well, they're my friends, I'm going to put them on the soundtrack. It's like, no, their music's so good, I wonder if I can even get the rights to put it on the soundtrack. They're way more famous and popular than my little independent movies.
Hey, you know what? You jumped into, okay, so you were doing the music videos before films, right? Or both?
Technically, I made my very first crappy independent film that no one's ever seen first. Then I started music videos. But essentially, yes, I had a long history with music videos and music documentaries before I really sort of dedicated the majority of my time to pursuing feature films.
You know what? That must be cool, though, because I'm sitting there thinking, like, you know, when you, like, now when you do a video, or I guess the whole time, but when you do a video, it's cool because every time you do it, I guess it's kind of like you feel like you're shooting a movie, right?
Often, yeah. I mean, I always compare it. I used to be jealous of musicians because if you write a song, you can go to any bar in the world that has an open mic and go perform your song. You can write it that day and then walk on the stage and perform it for people and have the instant gratification of knowing if people like your work. As a filmmaker, even with short films, by the time you write that script, find the financing, put everything together, produce it, edit it, get it into some festivals, and then eventually the public sees it, that's a much longer process, generally speaking. So I was always jealous of music in that sense, and music videos are sort of the perfect marriage there, where I get the instant gratification of, you know, it takes a day or two to film it, a day or two to edit it, and then boom, it's released. And you get that instant gratification that, and actors must feel that too in film. Teagan, you could probably attest to shooting a film and then, you know, you don't hear anything about it, and then a year or 2 or 3 years later or whatever it is, finally gets released. Whereas, short format stuff or doing stage work, I imagine for an actor, it's much more that instant gratification.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of the times when I do a project, you complete it and you put it behind you because you're on to the next, and then, like a year or two later, it comes up in press or there's screenings for it or they're in festivals, and it becomes almost like dreamlike where you're like, oh yeah, I get that. I totally forgot about that.
Absolutely. Now, are you two planning to head to any film festivals coming up? I mean, are you going to be able to make it to the Fantastic Horror, or because I'm sure you two are busy? But
I'm going for sure. I live like an hour away from there now. I live in Los Angeles, so 2 hours away, whatever it is. It's all relative. It's closer than Canada. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. SCAREHOUSE is also screening on September 24th or 5th. I'm so bad I should know this, at the Austin Revolution Film Festival, where we're also nominated for some awards. So we're going to head down for that. And, there's some other festivals coming up, but SCAREHOUSE is a weird thing where we didn't go the festival route because we had distributors. We knew that it was coming out. The festival started inviting us to screen,
Right.
So it's been such a blessing, and we're so flattered that it hasn't been played anywhere. But it was never right. Typically a lot of films will go to festivals and then build up some buzz and seek out distribution. Right. It's been a weird thing where the film has been released on VOD in the U.S. and Canada. It did a small theatrical in Canada. It just played in the Philippines for 4 weeks, or still is playing. It opens in Mexico soon. So it's an active film in release, but still getting to play these festivals, which is great, because as much as that sounds exciting, that this film has come out all over the place, when you're an independent film, really still only 3% of the world has seen your movie. So the festivals are such a great way to find new audience and have the opportunity. What I love about festivals is meeting other filmmakers, because really these are your creative equals. These are the people that you're gonna meet with and figure out who's got the next great script you want to direct, or what I could do to edit somebody else's short. Festivals are the most amazing networking opportunity for actors and filmmakers to meet their peers and the people that they're going to work with.
Oh yeah.
Teagan and I went and got, I think we had a few drinks too many at the New York Film Festival last year.
What?
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, we've had, maybe that was just my beer gobble, but I feel like, I make that joke to say that we've been very blessed with SCAREHOUSE. A lot of times you make a film, and actors are actors. They don't have to like you. They don't have to like your script. They don't have to like the film. They don't have to like promoting the film. They can just do the job and go home and go on to the next project. And that's fair game when that happens. But for me, one of the most enjoyable things about my career is being able to make new friends constantly and build sort of lifetime relationships with the actors and the people that you're working with. And Teagan and Catherine Burrell, who was in the movie, and Danny Barker, and even some of the smaller performers like Alex Hirosh, who has all of 2 lines in the movie, but just is so supportive and loves the movie and loves the people involved in the movie. They come to every premiere and every festival that they can possibly do. And I don't know if a lot of the world realizes that even on bigger films and festivals, it's out of the actor's pocket that they're paying your travel expenses half the time and hotel fees.
That's true.
It's always a bit of a stretch for them to go. So having a film where people were excited enough and believed in the film, and everybody behind the scenes got along for the most part very well. Teagan laughs awkwardly.
Right.
And, but I mean, I always enjoy that, because many of the cast and crew from SCAREHOUSE I've gone on to produce other short films with or edit for them, and always stay in touch and can have dinner every once in a while. I think that to me is always the thing I love the most about the industry is when it can lead to friendships and stuff. I never got into filmmaking for money or glory, because that's just silly and no one should ever do that. It's because I love what I do. So often I meet like-minded individuals, and that's one of the greatest thrills that kind of keeps me alive and keeps me young. It's just always being surrounded by people that are pursuing their dreams and love filmmaking.
Right, and good vibes and energetic. Now, excuse me, the main, the main girls in the cast, or all of you guys, Teagan, did any of you already know each other or had worked together? Because you all worked together amazingly. You know, it kind of seemed like you all were sisters almost.
Yeah, and it's wild because none of us actually initially shot together. We were all brought down individually to be, I guess, killed one at a time.
Handpicked.
So, none of the main cast ever actually worked together. So,
Wow.
I worked primarily with Sarah and Kimberly, who were the two leads. And then we did some reshoots, and that was the only time that the entire cast was all together. And we had a blast. We bonded right away. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
We had in the film. Sorry, go ahead, Teagan.
No, I was just gonna say it was quite seamless. The transition we made, like we basically just showed up all on set, and we were all friends right away.
Wow.
It was great because all the scenes that you see, the flashback scenes and the sort of found footage elements of the film.
Right.
Those were reshoots. None of those scenes were originally in the script. Originally, the script all focused on the scare house, everything that happened that night. So the actresses, just because of scheduling purposes, never really overlapped very often, and some of them didn't meet each other at all. And then a couple months later, I had assembled a cut of the film. We showed it to Universal and D-Films, our Canadian distributor, and had a little test screening. And, Universal and D-Films just said, you know what, we love the film as is, but, you got all these beautiful actresses that are bloodied up, tortured, banged around. Like, would you be interested, we could put the budget together for it and maybe shooting like a little prologue scene where we get to see these girls when they were all friends before all of these horrific events sort of begin to unfold.
Right.
So I said, yeah, I kind of like that idea. And I had taken a vacation, and while I was on vacation, I was just sat on the beach, and I had my notepad, and I just had this idea. I went, oh my God, what if instead of just this little intro prologue tacked on scene, what if we made it much more interwoven with the story and kind of broke it up into two timelines? And so yeah, like Teagan said, when we shot those in, when we shoot those, like late January, it was the night before the Oscars, the night of the Oscars, right?
Yeah, I remember it being February.
Yeah, so it would have been Oscar night 2014. Everybody was traveled back down to Windsor, Ontario, went and had dinner at Boston Pizza there, which is one of our main sponsors. Rob Haglund took care of us on the movie shoot, did our premiere after party, and so we had drinks and a nice dinner there, and then went and watched the Oscars the next night. We woke up, and it was the first time that all the girls were on set together. And like Teagan said, it was a bit of magic that everybody just worked and became friends. And I think a lot of you girls still see each other and communicate, and have remained friends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. A lot of us are still close. We still hang out all the time and see each other on a regular basis.
I like I like the twist to how you guys did that, like you said in the beginning, because when it first started, I was like, okay, I was lost because I was seeing what was happening, but I was curious to know, how this all came about. But what you all did is you put those pieces where the take back scenes of the original friendship. You put those scenes in at exactly the right moments. I think that was interesting. How they came in just at the right, just when you had everybody hyped up, like, oh my goodness, like how did it get to this? Then you go back and everything was on point.
Well, we tried to, part of the film, it is obviously it's a horror film. There's some horrific things in it, but really it's a revenge story, and I say it's part courtroom drama that they're essentially putting these girls that they're inviting into the scare house. They're kind of putting them on trial, right? They want their information, they want to crack them as witnesses and get the information they want. So, I kind of like the slow burn of it. The flashbacks just kind of add to that, kind of keep you guessing, because most people definitely don't guess the ending of the movie and don't really guess.
Oh, they sure don't.
Even it's less of a whodunit because your protagonists are the serial killers. it's that Dexter sort of mentality or American Psycho. You're following the killer, and it's more of what I call a why depth. Like why? What is their motivation? What you want to root for these girls, but at the same time they're murdering people and executing this vicious plot. But can you still validate them and make them feel like you want to root for them once you understand why they are committing these crimes?
Yeah, and you know what? I tell you what, for everybody out there, when you see this picture, the end, okay, because the end just, I thought I knew, and then the end just totally threw me to the left. And so it almost seems like there could, you guys also left the possibility for maybe a part 2 in the future, if you felt like it.
Never thought of it. Don't already have 2 treatments completely outlined in case that's an option. Teagan and I actually tossed around an idea to be quite cinematic. So.
Oh wow, go for it. That's all I could say. Because I mean, wow, I was lost. Like the ending, I definitely don't really want to give away, but I don't know. Like some questions I want to ask. Like, okay. I'll ask this without giving much away. Okay, let's see. At the end, did the girl have this? Did she know that she was in? Did she intend to do what she did from the beginning? And this is just for me.
100%.
Oh
and
wow!
Anybody who goes back and watches the film a second time, I think, walks away with it a little bit more with.
Okay.
It's very subtly spelled out throughout the film. If you go back and go like, oh my God, she said it right there, and I didn't catch it.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is laid out.
There's a lot of foreshadowing in the flashback scenes too. So I mean, going back and watching a movie second, even a third time, there's so much more that you catch.
Oh
like,
wow!
I think the first time people see the film, like there's so much going on that they're trying to piece everything together that you don't catch every single line that is said. But going back, like, and this even happened to me too. Like, well, I've seen the film at least 30 or 40 times now, but every time I go back, I'm like, oh, this and this and this. There's lots that's kind of just foreshadowed in the flashbacks that you wouldn't catch it right away.
And you know what? I could see that too, because that's what I was talking about with the scenes earlier. You get you really caught in your it's like 2 movies. It's like 2 good movies are happening at one time, because you're caught watching what's happening during the killing and stuff like that. And then once you get lost in that, then all of a sudden it takes you to this whole nother relevant situation that's like this good movie and this whole story that's going on all to itself. And it's intertwined together. And it's crazy because I watched the movie with someone and they were like, wow, this is the best film I've seen in a while, in a long time. And we watch a lot of independent films, like almost every night, right? And so they are going to bug out when I let them know to go back and watch it again, and there are other things to catch, because I can definitely see that twist, that there's a puzzle in there somewhere. Did those types of things, were you guys intending for those twists to be there, or for those things that people may not have realized at first and makes them have to go back 2 or 3 times, or did those things just kind of fall in place with it being a good film?
No, I mean, they were scripted, especially because we sort of had this blessing in disguise of going back and doing the flashback stuff afterwards. There were definitely little hints and things. If you watch the flashbacks, there's usually these little subtle cues to why they chose each torture device for each girl.
Right, and see, that's what I haven't figured out yet.
Yeah, so there's things like that, and I love, I just had a discussion earlier today about movies like The Usual Suspects or The Sixth Sense, where you go back, like, you get to the end of that movie, and you kind of feel dumbfounded, where you go, like, I should have seen it, and you go back and watch the movie, and you're like, man, they just hit me over the head over and over and over again for what was going to happen. It's just so subtly crafted that you just pass it off as witty dialogue or a non-important moment. And I love any film that you can go back and watch a second or third time and catch things that you didn't, and some of the greats, there's movies that, you watch 10 years later or every couple of years and you're still pulling things out of them that in the opposite direction of horror movies, the television series Arrested Development, where some of their jokes are so layered and so on just a different plane of most TV shows that I've watched that series 4 times all the way through, and every time I've caught more and more jokes that reference old episodes or little moments, and they built and built and built on it. So, I'm not saying we operated at any sort of genius comedy level that they did, but I do like a bit of a thinking man's movie where you have to try to, you can't spell it all out the first time.
Well, what was it like, just, I guess, switching up the pace a little bit. Teagan, what was it like going to your first audition? Or do you remember it? Like, did you know you had it in the bag or and then, if you got it in, because a lot of times, we don't get it. But what was it like? Were you nervous?
Do you mean my first audition, like ever, or for the SCAREHOUSE?
Yeah, ever.
Yeah, I remember it like pretty clearly. I was really, really sick, and I was exhausted, and I sounded awful, and I thought, like, I was going in there and I'm like, oh, I'm still not getting this part, and I had no energy, and so I did my read. I did the best I could do, and then a few days later, I got the call that I got the job, and I was so dumbfounded. I was like, how did that work out? And I don't know. I guess it's just because I let it go. Like, I didn't. I don't know. I wasn't attached to it. I let it go. I gave what I could, and then it was like water off a duck's back. It didn't matter to me either way because I was just so ill.
The skills just came over you when they need be.
Yeah, it's a weird acting thing too. Like, I feel like when you really want something, they know. The casting directors and the directors, they know, they smell that, but you kind of have to make them want you in a way.
Right.
So it's like dating.
I think it is. It's like dating in a lot of ways. Where I think if you play hard to get, they want you.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep that tip in mind when I go to some auditions. Look, I hope I'm that good. I would go in there acting like I don't want the part and then don't get it. I'll be like, why I keep getting put down? Well, if you could, you know what? Have you ever thought about what your dream role would be, Teagan? Like, if you could, like, is there any character that you've ever thought, hey, I've always wanted to play this person, whether it be a villain or, yeah.
I have a few. I mean, the SCAREHOUSE was definitely on my bucket list. Like, growing up, I always knew I wanted to act, and being in a horror movie was on my actor bucket list. I was like, I have to do at least one horror film where I can just, like, let go and scream and get all bloody and look disgusting. So, the SCAREHOUSE was part of the dream. And I guess doing a period piece from the 50s, which me and Gavin talk about all the time. Doing a period piece from the 50s, I love the era, the music, the styling, everything. I think it would be really cool to do a piece from then.
Now,
and I feel like Carrie. Sorry? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish. I was going to say, are you all... I'm sorry, Teagan, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, now, is SCAREHOUSE playing in America yet? Or is it intentions to get here?
It's, if people go to the SCAREHOUSEmovie.com, there's a section or a tab called Watch, and it's on all the major VOD channels. It's on iTunes, but Comcast, or even if you want to watch it on your PlayStation, it's PlayStation Store. It's available pretty much anywhere you can watch videos online. You can go on YouTube and rent it right on YouTube.
Right.
And then, you know what? Hell, it's the age we live in. Just go to Kick-Ass Torrents and download the damn thing. I'd rather people watch the movie than not watch the movie if they're not willing to pay for it. So,
you know what? People need to be, and I feel you on that. I totally do, Gavin. But, excuse me, listen, people, this movie's worth the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of hard work goes into this, you know, the masses.
I appreciate that. I just think we live in a world where, you know, when you're an independent filmmaker, when you're an actress who's not a household name, regardless of all the wonderful work you've done, like, you just need people to see your work, and you put so much into it.
Yeah.
I'd rather, you know, 1 million people see it for free than, you know, 100,000 people buy it, 900,000 people not see the movie. So I live in a much more, you know, understanding time of how things work, and that's what's going to get you to the next project. And this film has opened many doors for me. You know, we talked about upcoming projects, and there's a few I can't talk about yet, but they're massive, and I would have never had the opportunity if it wasn't for all the hard work and the opportunities that came to me through SCAREHOUSE. So just super happy that people like the movie. You know, we've won some awards for it. And awards ultimately mean nothing. It's more the, you know, when I hear folks like yourself say that they really enjoyed it, had questions about how it ended, and you know, and I love hearing so much that, you know, one of the most complimented things the movie gets is that, especially in the horror genre, that all of the cast were incredibly strong and the actors were great, and that was important to me, because I want to, you know, I feel like sometimes, and this is not to knock any of my peers or their films or independent films in general, but a lot of times the emphasis isn't put on the dramatic talent. Who's the hottest? What do we get? Let's just make the movie and throw her in a bikini, and that's said and done. I really wanted to try to, you know, not trumpet, but at least raise the bar and do the best we could in finding the most talented cast. And I feel like we've done that.
You definitely did, because Teagan, your character would definitely be one of the people's favorites in the film. You know what I'm saying? Just being strong. I was a bit disappointed at the way things happened, at the way things ended. You know what I'm saying? With you, because I wanted to, you know, I felt, I don't want to give it away, but I was ready to see you kick some butt. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know how much I can say, but
you can't.
You can say whatever you want, Teagan. You have full permission.
Don't say too much though, because I want people.
That may or may not be the last time that you see Shelby.
I know.
So that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Look, that's what we were looking forward to. Absolutely. Now listen, where can okay, all right. Okay, first of all, before we get out of here, real quick, I want to talk about the Best Director nomination during Fantastic Horror Film Festival. Just, you know, it's one of those questions, but I gotta ask it. How does it feel?
I mean, it feels great. There's no other response to that. I mean, I especially when I look at the, you know, the list of my contemporaries that are nominated, films that they're nominated for. These are all wonderful films of people that have solid careers, and I'm happy. I'm happy to be considered in that realm. Like, honestly, I'm generally as humble as it comes. Even when I get an opportunity to have a meeting with somebody who's a producer that I really respect and love, just the idea of getting that meeting fuels me to kind of keep going and be motivated, because it means that I'm at least dreaming and coming up with scripts in the realm of what's going to entice the people who are my heroes. Right. I had a chance to speak with Bob Shea recently, who, you know, produced everything in New Line Cinema, owned New Line Cinema, created Nightmare on Elm Street with Wes Craven, and just had a pleasant conversation and got some feedback on my scripts. So that everything in this industry was a step forward, moving my little plastic war soldiers a little step forward to win the battle is an exciting thing. Getting nominated for Best Director for something that I created and put my blood, sweat, and tears into, it's amazing. Yeah. And I can't wait to go. And if I win, that'll be great. If I lose, I'll hug the winner instantly, because, you know, I know what it takes to make an independent film and put everything into it. And whoever wins deserves it, because they fought their own battles, they had their own problems, they put their own passion and everything into making that project. And it's just that's what I love. What I love the most about the horror film community. This is my first horror film. I didn't understand how much the fans and filmmakers like stick together and really root for each other and truly don't carry egos with them for the most part, and really just want to be there doing what they love. And it's been such an awesome community to be welcomed into as a first-time feature horror director. And you know, there's those experiences I can't, you know, nothing will ever take that away. Win or lose doesn't matter. Being nominated, and you know, you always hear people say that at the Oscars. Oh, being nominated is such an honor. Like, but now I get it.
Right.
I really do. It's such a good feeling.
So had you already written a feature horror? I mean, well, not horror, but a feature film of a different genre before the horror?
I had done 4 feature films prior to this that were all indie dramas.
Uh-huh.
And one of them was a straight up romantic drama. So this is very different for me. I had done a few horror-themed music videos. I did an Emily music video that was an all-out grindhouse zombie attack. I had done a short film called The Hell With Love, which a lot of the same, the cinematographer from SCAREHOUSE, the composer from SCAREHOUSE, some of the cast, and everybody involved in that film worked on this film, The Hell With Love, which played at Fantasia and a bunch of other festivals. I've just always been a giant horror movie fan, just until SCAREHOUSE an opportunity to make a horror feature because it hadn't presented itself yet.
Yeah. Well, I see two SCAREHOUSE 2, 3, and 4 in the future. Definitely.
So our production, we should talk about one quick thing.
Yeah.
Sean Lippard, we filmed inside of an actual haunted house. Like this is an operating annual haunted house in Windsor, Ontario called the SCAREHOUSE Windsor. So I just stole the title from the haunted house.
Oh, wow.
Sean is one of my best friends. We've been involved in many projects together over the years. Sean was an operator. I came up with the idea for the movie by touring the SCAREHOUSE with him and being like, you know what, you could probably literally murder people in here. Nobody would know the difference. They would just think that the dead bodies were props. It's so dark in here, you would always have the upper hand if you were running this thing. And, you know, we moved into the building that his haunted house was in. We rearranged some of the sets, but really Sean was our production designer. All of this to say, Sean constantly says, he's like, are we going to make a SCAREHOUSE 2? I was like, yeah, it's actually like a real possibility. And he just always texts me back, SCAREHOUSE 2 in the Bahamas. Because he's just like, there's no point in making movies unless you're traveling to all the places you want to live for a month. So
Yeah.
forget Windsor, Ontario. The next one's in the Bahamas. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought that up though, because that was a cool location, and you guys did good shooting in the dark like that and still making a clear movie that, you know, people could see. But we had to compensate. You know, we had to come up with lighting designs that would look brighter so that you could see them on camera and colorful, but still have the feel and what you expect. Because everybody knows what it's like to go through one of these haunted houses. They exist all over North America. And the building itself, I mean, Teagan can attest to it, that building stinks. There's so much water damage and wet carpet and probably,
the building,
you know, like,
the building smells exactly the way you would envision it to after seeing the film and knowing what the sets look like. It smells as bad as it looks.
And so you guys had to film in those conditions under those.
It was it was not. I mean, it's a fine building. It had been asbestos tested, all of that stuff. Nobody was in any danger. It was just a disgusting old building that hadn't been touched 40, 50 years.
Yeah, what you would expect, pretty much, almost.
Yeah.
But it was great, like, going in as an actor, going into that kind of set, because the magic's already there. Like, you don't have to create any of this or imagine any of it. Like, it's there. It's there for you. You know? So you're feeling icky and scared and just all around, like, gross. Like, that existed. That was real.
Teagan, do you want to talk a little bit? What was your experience on premiere night in Windsor with the SCAREHOUSE?
Oh, it was wild. Like, it was like nothing I have ever experienced.
I don't mean the movie. I mean before you went to the premiere. Didn't you have to go to the SCAREHOUSE that night?
Oh, damn! You had to go. You had to. Oh no.
Yeah. Gavin, oh man, I will never forgive him for this. So I'm legit scared of haunted houses. Like they scare me. I do not do well in them at all. Like
I bet.
they're terrifying. So before our premiere, unbeknownst to the cast, we were all put in a limo together. We were going to our premiere. We were all dressed up, and we were taken to the SCAREHOUSE again. And we were forced to walk through the SCAREHOUSE. And Gavin filmed this, so this is online. You can actually see it. The cast is going through the SCAREHOUSE again, like pretty much exactly like a year after we had just shot. I hoped I would never ever have to go through that thing again. And we did right before our premiere, and it was absolutely terrifying. It was awful. I'm crying my eyes out in this video. It's totally humiliating, but completely hilarious to watch.
Yeah, that would have been, oh my goodness. You know what? I just thought of something. Okay, first of all, that would be a really, really scary thing to have to deal with. Because listen, you didn't have all the bright lights and things like that you had when you were filming. So was it just kind of more? Yeah.
It was pitch black. It was such a mean prank. Yeah, it was terrible. We're doing this to us.
Teagan, do you know where I was while you were going through the haunted house?
No, I would like to know, because I didn't know at the time. I probably would have strangled you.
I ate a steak. I had some really good vodka that somebody had gifted to me, some high-end vodka, and then I got dressed in my suit and I went to the premiere without having to walk through a haunted house.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You was just chilling.
Well, considering the theme of the movie, revenge is a bitch, Gavin, and we will have our time. We will have our time.
Hey, you know what?
I don't doubt that. I believe in your maliciousness to bring terrible faith upon me.
You know what? It's crazy. It's crazy y'all just said that, because when you were saying that earlier, I was like, oh my goodness, that sounds like some sort of sequel. Like years later, the girls are going through the house of where they, had some dealings or, filmed or whatever they were before, and all of a sudden crazy things start to jump off. And then it gets real after that. It's like, oh my God, like we should have never came back here.
This is what, Keith, I don't know if the Blair Witch producers listen to your show, but this has been my Blair Witch 3 pitch forever, what you're saying. Really? Blair Witch 3 takes place now, it's current, it's called The Blair Witch Legacy. The college students or high school students watch the original Blair Witch Project, and they go, no way, man. I'm going into the woods to figure out what happened. And they bring their GoPros and their iPhone 6s and their drones and all of the modern camera technology, and they go to investigate for themselves, and then shit gets fucked up.
I would be.
And they are, that to me is the Blair Witch sequel. What you're saying, where the reality factor in the sequel comes in, and that sort of hyper meta, blended reality.
Right. You know what? I think that's an amazing idea, because just like a whole lot of people, I'm still wondering. Oh God, let me stop. But yeah, so you know what? I think that's an amazing idea. Like everybody would look forward to that. And look, I know what you guys behind it. That would be something that would turn out tremendous. So in my office in Toronto, in my I say office, in my home office, I have the Blair Witch Project poster above my wall. I'm a huge fan of found footage. I'm working on a found footage project right now. I really think found footage got very tired. People used it as a cheap gift. They mistook what made found footage great. Found footage is a format, in which you're seeing the first person. Some people did a great Cloverfield, Chronicle. I'm forgetting some Paranormal Activity, obviously. Right.
But most people just use it as, we can wave a camcorder around and shake it. We don't have to pay for things, and we'll make a movie. So it sort of got watered down. But I think found footage is a fascinating thing where more and more it's becoming real. There was just, it's sad but true, but that recent incident of the vicious, malicious killer who put the GoPro on his head and filmed the execution of the TV reporters.
Ago.
And then decided to upload that to YouTube. I mean, found footage went from being the concept of like, well, this will be fun to make the Blair Witch Project, to like, this is a reality now. If you're going to commit a crime or do something horrendous, or everything nowadays is caught on tape. So I feel like found footage is coming into, it's going to have its renaissance soon, where it's going to be more important in cinema, and the ability to sort of like viscerally connect with an audience and make them believe what they're watching is real is going to become more important than ever. Not just for horror movies, but for other movies. It's like the subject matter is endless of what can be applied. So Blair Witch still holds the marker of the best marketing campaign and believability factor, where there are still people today who believe the Blair Witch Project is real. So I think that's going to come around, and I want to knock out of the park a fantastic found footage movie. I think even doing the flashback scenes in SCAREHOUSE as found footage is that's the tip of the hat of how much I want to do a found footage movie.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's no doubt about it that you're the guy for the job. It's been proven, and congratulations on being able to take that next step and working with Universal as well. Now, where do you guys have social media handles where people can follow, or the website or anything like that? People can follow what's going on with SCAREHOUSE and other projects.
Sure. I mean, SCAREHOUSE is it's SCAREHOUSEmovie.com. You can also go to just SCAREHOUSE Movie on Twitter. If you go on Facebook and search it, SCAREHOUSE Movie, you'll find it no problem. Instagram is at SCAREHOUSE Movie, and we try to update as often as we can. Okay. The website's probably SCAREHOUSEmovie.com is probably the best. It links everything. Teagan, where can all your future suitors and film?
I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All my handles are Teagan, so that's TEASHEN.
Okay. All right. And listen, look, I look forward to seeing you guys in San Diego. Teagan, I hope you can make it too. Gavin,
are you gonna be there?
Yeah. Yep, I'll be in the building.
I'll be there. What are the chances of you being there, Teagan, on a scale of 1 to not humanly possible?
Never say never. Never say never.
Well, I have a couch for you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
No, I love going to the festivals. After seeing the film so many times, when I watch the film in theater now, I watch the audience instead of the film, because I love watching people's reactions in certain scenes and watching them cringe and look away. And it's fun. It's really, really fun.
Yeah, I definitely put the gore back into it. Like I say, y'all got me off, from the first torture scene. I was like, okay, I was holding my ribs. I don't know if I can handle this.
I keep saying we should team up with Tony Rollins or something and have a rib dinner special.
Oh my God! Yo, Gavin, you just messed up my rib dinners for the next 2 weeks, man. All right.
Well, when I meet you in October, I'm going to offer you a rib dinner.
I'm going to ask you, well, okay, look, I'm going to look to see if Teagan's anywhere around. I'm going to know where she got the ribs from if y'all together. You know what I'm saying? So, but look, yeah, like, listen, absolutely. Listen, good luck on all the nominations. You guys deserve it. I think you brought, I think you put the twist back into the horror. Listen, I also want to commend you guys on how tastefully you did things too with the ladies in the film, because you were able to bring that element to the table that made it, that made it sexy, but at the same time you kept it classy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was a weird conversation for me. I mean, one, my wife is in the movie, who plays the lead, Corey, and two, I'm just generally, I'm not a fan of, let me phrase it 2 ways. I'm a fan of nudity in movies because I don't mind nudity, but I'm not a fan of shooting nudity. I don't think it really serves a purpose in a movie.
Right.
So, but I get that audiences also, there's a fine line. They want what they pay for. So say for example, scenes where we have the sort of lingerie party while everybody's getting ready to go out for the night at the beginning of the film.
Right.
there's things like that where I'm literally the most awkward human being in the room. Just like, I'm just going to stare at the carpet the whole time you turn the camera on again. And like, it's just not a comfortable environment to film it. These people, by that point, had all become like good friends. Like, some of them also produce films on the side, and I'm their editor. And it's just not a natural environment to be seeing people in their underwear. So, and I also like, anybody who knows me in life knows that I've never been to a strip joint. In the history of my lifetime, I've never set foot in a strip joint because my general philosophy in life is I don't want to see anyone naked if they're not having sex with me. Hey, so there's just no appeal. There's no appeal to me to watch anyone in their underwear that I don't have a sexual desire for. So as a director, it doesn't work. And I've had to shoot other underwear scenes. When it makes sense story-wise, great. But otherwise, even you notice the girl who has the very unfortunate breast reduction.
Oh, wow.
We keep her covered most of the time.
Right.
And, there's only the few shots that you need to see to sell the story versus just, all out. Well, let's just hope that nudity sells the movie versus plot. Right,
because you all did it in a way where people get the point of they get it without it being trifling or too blunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's important. I think that could appeal to a lot of audiences. Listen, and look, and also thank you for that, Gavin, because you don't have all us men out there getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Right. This is a film out there, people. You can watch this one with your girl guys, and your girls don't have to be too mad. Like, what are you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Type situation. So
we find girls like this movie better than guys half the time. So.
Well, yeah, because the girls in the film are hot, but things are still covered up. So to a certain degree, things are covered up. So everybody doesn't have to be like, oh my goodness, they don't have to be offended. It's something that everybody can enjoy. So listen, kudos. Look, everybody out there all across the land. Just in case you tuned in late, as I always say, you should have been here from the beginning. But in case you tuned in late, you can catch this whole conversation with Gavin, Teagan, and myself, Keith Harris, right here on the Keith Harris Show. Make sure you go see SCAREHOUSE. All right. If it's coming out near you, listen. If you're in the Philippines, is it still playing in the Philippines now?
I think it has one more week there, but
okay. All right. Well, we worldwide, so. If you're in the Philippines, you know what I'm saying, and I'll make sure that I post it, also on my social media, so that people other places, the Philippines or wherever they can see it, and all the sites that they can see it on can check it out. It's a wonderful film, and listen, once again, kudos. And when I see you in San Diego, we'll make a toast.
That sounds great. What do you drink? What's your drink of choice?
Bacardi Dark.
All right.
Nice one.
I'll have it ready for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm traditional with my ways and that. I don't get too fancy in the new stuff nowadays. It's all good, but I stick with the original. What's you guys' favorites?
I vary. I've been doing a lot of Grey Goose.
Oh, okay.
And anybody who knows me is any form of gin and soda will do me into the night.
Oh wow! I had a shot of gin just the other day. People was like, "Oh, gin makes you sin." That kind of crazy stuff. What about?
I'm a Bacardi girl, so I would love to have a dark Bacardi with you. That'd be awesome.
Okay, that's what's up. Bacardi smooth. That's a smooth drink. But all right, listen, look, it's been wonderful. Again, congratulations. I'm gonna make sure I watch the film a few more times now as well. Everybody go check it out. One more time before we go, what other sites that people can go to watch it?
To watch the film, YouTube, you can rent it. Torrent it if you must. SCAREHOUSEMovie.com. There's a tab called Watch, which gives you all of the options of where you can watch. It is coming out on DVD in America soon. There is a TV deal in place that I can't say yet, but November It hits American cable, and then that'll be it for Scarehouse, and on to hopefully bigger and better things.
All right, absolutely. Listen, once again, it was a pleasure having you two on, and listen, we'll be talking to you soon. All right.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Good.
It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and congratulations to also everybody out there all across the land, director and writer Gavin Michael Booth, and the wonderful actress Teagan Vince, right here on the Keith Harris Show. We'll be talking to you soon.